commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're all friends.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid... Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open.
Don't worry about that. We were just...
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties.
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience.
If you're interested in helping, why not start? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he... Paimon approves! Let's go! Hello there! Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a...
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that if we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now...
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, one last show. And after that, we go our separate way. Nobody wants things to just... fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake,
Got it! We have a clearer picture now. Let's see... what if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not we should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best of partners. And she's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd, performing in a musical.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows, but even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a comp. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an well, yes. Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of... Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and...
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia.
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the Red. It is my duty to support Commissioner.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in the... there's anything wrong with this place.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't an
Ah! Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the...
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and...
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no...
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to...
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're...
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... Fine. So tell me, what specifically makes... Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse... After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine. Well, but... given the present circumstances...
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you!
True, but I have made... Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, but at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new role.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for some...
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door. So I'm not going to perform.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to... Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if true, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Ooh, no way.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance...
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want a... Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone... Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now.
Toodaloo.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my...
Shortly after you left, the troop's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't happy.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all.
Oh, right. Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding...
Jeez, Is Lady Furina really
Only joking, calm down. So, despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our...
Look, there's no... This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, so... Are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is put...
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home. Myself...
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of... All right, I'm coming. No...
Hello, Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest?
I was just ever so slightly concerned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position, and all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that person.
You really have a knack for asking the most. I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after. But in any case,
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we...
there's no need to think like that. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if...
We all want to believe that, but everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the...
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And
What?
that's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought... But still, no sense.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own... People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from
And then disaster.
Yeah. After that, none of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the... It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than...
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell...
Yes, exactly. We all miss her.
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. After hearing...
Furina?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, I can, however, provide some artistic, but only if you feel this is something that would help.
Oh, most definitely.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant.
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court... What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues. You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not Swine. It's...
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventure.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, these two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina. You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on...
So, you were saying the little
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by one of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a success...
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. The protagonist of the story is a young oceanid who transforms herself. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship. But one day, her true identity was exposed.
So far, so good. A classic tale.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, we need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have...
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director said...
Yeah, like they say, but then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage...
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but...
Although, now that we...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware, but...
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will... But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1. Let's check in with... He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and...
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we... So, allons-y. To Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me.
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last...
Okay, then. Look...
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the... Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had...
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough...
I was wondering if we might run in...
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around...
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here...
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. Get over here, you! How oblivious...
How are things in Poisson now?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never...
I'm sorry to hear that.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing... We all have painful memories. but we don't have to let them. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best.
Thank you for your words of comfort. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low.
That's so thoughtful of you, Nat.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president anyway. That was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe... I'm so grateful that Miss Nafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, it's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
yeah. I'd be lying if I... Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriolic... Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially... I guess I wasn't quite...
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to...
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have... I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to...
Great. Well, I appreciate your company. So, I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness as I stand here by the ship, I can't get the one after another. People were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute and all the while. I played my part to but then the floodwaters finally came.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing...
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario. Everyone rose to their responsibilities. But, on some level, freedom...
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
A reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about how I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. And believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No, that's what I really meant when I...
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life. At least the choice is in my... All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished...
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's...
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health. And it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself...
Oh no, looks like... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences as...
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns it...
Me? I'm an Oceanid.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he... outgrew that role. Well...
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yeah?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines, too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of, if you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face...
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about her. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to... It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job...
You mentioned earlier about the troupe...
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was in. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my...
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, the other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away.
Let me guess. Fortunately...
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe.
The day you hoped would never come. How time...
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's some...
Furina? The Furina?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe, and...
Same here!
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you... I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become... She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, the people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it. And in the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness? You mean...
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite...
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to—
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that—
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to be— If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate—
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps—
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director O'Reilly's death. Both arbitrary. On the day when she went missing, Director O'Reilly had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. We looked for her. The Gardamix looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly—
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen?
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Villemont? The one who's playing—
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, because— Well, speaking of the play being
What? You—
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never— I did tell her how I felt once. But she said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered— Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and— Well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted. And now—
Paula.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit—
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake— Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm—
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
This is tough going. Delphi.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. Wait, why are you all—
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie, indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as the more brave—
Aw, too bad. I would—
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of—
Silence!
We'll be a traveling magic troupe.
Gonna be epic.
Now disappear!
I'm going in!
Things are about to get dicey.
Here comes the finale! Now disappear!
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
Bow your head.
And voila!
I'm going in!
Silence!
Quietly now.
The tides beckon.
A round of applause!
Game's up. Fun's over.
Everybody stand back!
Settle down.
Gotcha.
Now disappear!
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole...
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will... I care just as much as everyone else about making the little Oceanid a success. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us.
Viamont, avoiding the truth will... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamont. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up but now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the... We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge spot. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the drink in question was...
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted them. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount... I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, but things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger! What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. How could you be so
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's—
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up, end my life, so I can meet the director and—
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each— Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real life? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do—
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's— But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about if you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits. But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the— What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that if she'd seen Paulo and Villemont at each other's throats like that—
Really? But she sounded like such—
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness.
What you said,
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine—
It's all right. Let's save all this for—
So, the
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really— The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps—
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based—
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your keep.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place.
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too!
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from— Aha! I found some. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentioned if we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence
Lachey took so many lives. It's still so
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. Her final words are— I'll let you read them for yourself.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final... wait. This part... If you become human, you can reveal your secret to...
Isn't that the most important line in the...
Because I am an old...
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that...
Even in the last moments of her life.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant we know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now...
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. To make this a show, I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform?
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself. And aren't human emotions love, hate, regret, and hope? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the...
Actually, before that, I'd like to make up during the curtain call. Please allow me to use the...
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. Besides, a role commemorating her...
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that...
Now we're talking like a... All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure it.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need...
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show...
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fan...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think...
No,
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no problem. I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. Look at that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just guessing?
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break.
It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is the story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts.
What do you mean?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their in the past. We sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to—
Why would you suddenly have—
Well, if the little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many the experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any— nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors, or— This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you— I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paper—
Thanks, Nervalet.
You are very welcome.
Good news, everyone. It's done. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette, we've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity. A touching story. A magnificent— Now, let's work
This is true.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to— Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's—
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far.
It's amazing. Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really—
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to—
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him—
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I have— If only—
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take—
Why?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about—
They've been getting less and less effective over time.
What? I thought they cure it.
I figured whatever it took to get me through.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me—
I'm sorry.
You—
Miss Furina,
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do—
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll... From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Thank you, Miss Furina.
Never mind. What's done is done. No one likes regrets. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. What, in your opinion, is...
It's her pure heart, despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Is she here yet? When will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My... wish...
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis seule et toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté. Et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now. And she just appears out of nowhere. Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as super.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a double.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make. Still, I have to admit it felt good to be back on.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh,
So it was Furina. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing?
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work.
Yes, I know the rule, but it should still.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication.
How did the performance go? Was it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina—
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance.
Well, one way I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe.
Oh, don't you start.
Aw, you two clearly—
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bigger theater.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah. It's what—
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our direct—
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but—
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience— maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress, but from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place—
If a vision is a gift from the god, then I should do my best to honor.